One Call That's All Studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna.
No Todd Rundgren? We don't do Victory Monday off the preseason?
Do I have to take the blame for this one?
I mean, you can still save it.
All right, I'll take the blame. That's fine. My bad. I'd rather take the blame.
Ashton Rotman, our cousin. I think that's the way it works. You're going to be our cousin sub of the day. Josh DiMaggio sliding over to the big studio. Ashton Rotman running things, and Josh is just all sorts of. He's just out of sorts. Can't get anything to work.
I mean, can't hear me right now, but has he ever used a radio studio? Oh, I wasn't.
I could hear you.
You can hear anything.
Couldn't find headsets.
I mean, we got some cheap pieces of garbage going on here.
Jeez.
I was getting cut off audio. I didn't hear the beautiful open there.
You can't say that.
I said cheap pieces of garbage.
He slides over to the big studio one time. One time.
He's in Chewy's chair. He's just letting it fly.
One time. He's just over here, and he's just becomes Diva Central.
I didn't know that we use cheap products here. It was hard to hear.
You don't have to double down, you dumbass.
I expected better from us in here. I don't know why.
You've been here long enough.
Ashton,
that's on you.
That's on you, actually, Ashton, as the executive producer. We need tip-top working things while I'm trying to conduct business.
Listen, I offered my suggestions for when we're getting headphones. That's the last I'll say about that.
So let's go to the top.
Any other grievances you boys want to air? Ashton is just allowed to come back.
Chair's run too high up for me. There we go, much better.
It just starts with Josh complaining, then Ashton decides to jump in. Any grievances? Go ahead, air the grievances before we get to the Packers defeating the Cleveland Browns on a preseason victory.
My sunbird's starting to peel a little bit from the boat day. So other than that, though, I'm great.
This microphone arm could use some work. I don't really, I'm kind of limited in the space I can
You got
use.
nothing again? You got nothing to complain about?
No, I'm feeling good today.
All right.
I'm feeling good. I'm just gonna let you guys, get it out of your system.
How about the Packers?
Hey, there we go. Now he's ready. Here we go. Your Green Bay Packers 23-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns. Offense plays 3 snaps. Starting offense plays 3 snaps. Although those 3 snaps resulted in a touchdown. But what were your biggest takeaways, Joshy? I know you were locked in. You were excited for the preseason game on Saturday afternoon. What was the biggest thing that you walked away from that game feeling about your Green Bay Packers?
I found it interesting that Josh Jacobs, one of the longer tenured veterans on the team, saw 2 immediate touches right out of the gate. Feels like a guy we want to protect, but as you mentioned in the pre-show meeting, maybe he just wants to take a couple hits, see some game action.
Chewy talks about all that all the time. And again, the preseason, obviously different back in the 90s when he played, but if he did not have those couple of hits from other teams in game-like action, he just felt like he wasn't ready for the regular season.
The next biggest thing was obviously Dontavian Wicks immediately making a play on his first play, the third play of the game for the offense. Jordan Love hit him in stride on the deep ball, which is a thing we talked about endlessly throughout last season. And then the fact that 3 plays and done seems to be the matter of fact there for the Packers. They seem like the offense, first team offense, isn't going to see many snaps. So they got a touchdown and they said, we're done here. We're good here.
Is the only way to see Jordan Love at this point, if you're a Packers fan, to go to practice?
It seems like it. Hopefully those... And isn't one of the joint practices, aren't they actually traveling for one of them? Like they're not going to be in Green Bay?
Correct. The next joint practice is going to be on the road. They have one coming up at Denver and then home here against the Ravens for preseason week 3. They will have a joint practice. I don't know when the date of that practice is, but they're doing joint practices with both the Broncos and the Ravens.
Yeah.
And because of those joint practices, we are not going to be seeing Jordan Love in that number 1 offense against the Broncos next Sunday.
It feels like the playing in preseason for the first team, aside from the young guys who that are going to be obviously playing a factor, mainly those guys are on the defense with Evan Williams
this
and Javon Bullard.
Correct.
It seems like they kind of just went through the motions. It was a get in, get out, let's not get hurt, and that's all we need to do. If that's what they think is going to be the best for them, I guess I can't really question it, but it all kind of felt like You got excited about the touchdown, and then it was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, why? If you're only going to play 3 plays, I mean, if they don't score the touchdown, I don't know if LaFleur sends them back out. I have no idea.
And I don't know if that question was asked of him.
It
like
was.
if it's a 3 and out.
Oh yeah.
If it's a 3 and out, what do they do?
Yeah, he had just said, he was on the record saying, "Well, I told the offense if we went 3 plays touchdown, they would be done for the day."
Well, there it goes.
Sure enough.
I also was impressed with Grant DuBose.
So I think the wide receivers continue to be one of the more interesting things happening with the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. And it starts with Dontavian Wicks, who I still have questions about how much he is going to play, because you're not going to get a feel for that when the first team offense. Now, the fact that he didn't go back out there with like the second teams, I think says something
a good sign
about what the Packers think about him. But is he still clearly wide receiver 4? Because he clearly was wide receiver 4 on family night. And I think that's something worth monitoring and hearing what people like Jason and Rob Domofsky have to say, who are up at practice each and every day. But the back part of the wide receivers are also wildly interesting. So I think the top 4, we know those guys are safe.
Yep.
Dobbs, Watson, Reed, and Wicks. Mm-hmm. So how many do they keep after that? How many do they think they can keep? How many do they want to keep? Because the battle for that 5th wide receiver position with Bo Melton, who did not have a good game, Grant DuBose, who had a very good game, and Malik Heath, who saw obviously time last year for the Packers. I think Samori Toure is. I think his time in Green Bay is going to be done. But I don't think you're going to be able to keep 7 wide receivers on this roster, because you're probably going to have to keep 3 running backs.
Yeah.
Probably going to want to keep 3 tight ends. Like, it just becomes a roster crunch at some point. And you're not going to be able to keep all those guys at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, there is going to be a squeeze at that position. And I don't think, at this point, Bo Melton isn't anybody you could put on a practice squad, nor do I really think you even really want him there with his level of explosiveness. I mean, last year he had the first 100-yard game for any Packers wide receiver.
Correct.
Which, at the time, I remember on the post-game show, you guys were kind of like, man, we don't know what this guy is. He just kind of showed up. And then he showed up throughout the rest of the season in big ways. I think he's an asset for the team. Grant DuBose, they kept around for a reason. He didn't play last year at all. He's like big-bodied, as we all got to see on Saturday. And it looks like he can get open, which those are the type of guys you want. The Packers traditionally have used that 5th spot, or those end of the guys to block, like Malik Heath. Mm-hmm. And I mean, last year, Matt LaFleur sung Malik Heath's praises nonstop, and it feels like that's a guy we haven't heard about at all, that I kind of just imagined they'd back into the roster. He's going to play special teams, and he's going to kind of do the dirty work. But on the touchdown run for Emmanuel Wilson, Grant DuBose shifted into the line and made a block there. And if that's something he's going to do, I guess maybe that makes Malik Heath expendable.
Try to keep him on the practice squad, and I think that could be something that they actually just try to figure out. Okay, which one of these guys, you mentioned the explosivity of Bo Melton and the way that Grant DuBose looked, which one of these guys could we possibly get through waivers and keep on our practice squad, right? Therefore he can still be in our system.
Because Bo Melton wasn't a Packer to start his career.
Correct.
I believe he was a UDFA, and then the Packers picked him up as just like a guy that was free. So much similar to that, I think if you put Bo Melton out there, he's probably going to get snapped up. Because how many guys on the waiver wire or that are kind of those free signings are guys that had 100 yards last season in a game?
Well, other than Christian Watson, he's probably the 2nd fastest wide receiver they have. Not to say that he would be the Christian Watson replacement if Christian ends up missing games, but because of the explosiveness that he does possess, turns out, NFL teams covet speed.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And what I think
is the breaking news sounder for that one.
If you want to.
What I thought
you can do whatever you want back there, Ashton.
Yeah.
You're the executive producer. You're in charge of this whole bleep show.
Yes.
What I thought was interesting, too, is it was literally 3 plays, and it's hard to make any decisions off of that. But the interesting part was Romeo Doubs played all 3, and then they went into the 21, which is 2 tight ends, so one of the wide receivers came off, and that was Jaden Reed. And then Dontavian Wicks replaced Christian Watson, and Jaden Reed stayed on the field with Romeo Doubs. So Romeo Doubs played all 3 snaps. Dontavian Wicks got 1 play and beat Denzel Ward, who is an all-pro cornerback at one point in his career. I don't know how good is he anymore. I'm not keeping up on Denzel Ward.
He's playing safety now.
Yeah, so he ran right past him. And it was one... If he's going to be the distant 4th like that, it'll be interesting to see how many snaps that relates to in a full NFL game. Because if he's clearly the fourth option, is he just going? Is it going to be the same thing as last year, where he was limited in his snaps, but every time he was playing, it was like productive? Because that seems like you might have a guy there that needs more snaps.
Again, that's something I think that we need to keep on monitoring throughout. And I don't think we're going to see that in preseason games. Like the days of, and I heard so many different coaches talk about this throughout the course of this past week of, okay, well, we're going to play the starters a quarter. And then, it used to be preseason game number 3 was the dress rehearsal where you wanted, and Chewy has talked about this, just that feeling of resting the body, coming out after halftime, getting that first series to kind of get that lather going again. I mean, those days are gone, man. Like, I honestly don't think we're seeing the number one offense the rest of the way because they've got the joint practices. Like, the fact that they only played 3 snaps in this one, they're going to get the work in. Matt LaFleur has already said, yeah, we're going to get our work in for this Broncos game with the number ones through the joint practices. Why would you play your starters against the Ravens? Wouldn't you just do the same thing? You get the work in, get the work done that you want in the joint practices, more controlled atmosphere. I don't think we're going to be able to glean much information about who is going to be getting playing time from the wide receivers in these preseason games anymore. Like, I think we're done. We're done with for this year. Yeah. We're done. Now, that doesn't mean that these preseason games are meaningless. There's a lot of young players, especially, some of these position battles, running back. What happens with Marshawn Lloyd? Is it a long-term injury, short-term injury? Is he going to get more snaps? Like, there's certainly more things to be discussed, I think, in these. But in terms of who's going to be out there the most for the Green Bay Packers, on offense, I think those decisions have been made. Still some defensive ones that need to be made.
Yeah, on the defense, we might see an interesting thing happen here with the young safeties. Evan Williams was one of the better players in the game all around. Javon Bullard seems locked into pretty much a starting position in some form, which leaves Keyshawn Nixon in an interesting spot, a guy they paid. A reason they didn't really invest in the cornerback position. Remember everyone talking about Cooper DeJean, and we had to decide, are the Packers actually interested in that position, or do they feel good at the cornerback position? Well, now they got 2 guys that can kind of just play nickel, play safety. Evan Williams seems like a sure tackler, which for Packers fans who lived the Darnell Savage years, that's a welcome advance. That's a welcome thing to happen on that defense.
I do want to get into more of those safeties. Before we do, just some housekeeping that we have to get to. Again, no Jen, no Chewy today. Ben texting in, it's Monday and no Chewy. Is he hungover again? Maybe this was an actual planned day. We knew this wasn't my phone, goes off at 5:05 and Chewy, after blowing up the text line about the Sunday fun day he was having, isn't showing up. This was a planned off day for Chewy.
Can we talk about his shorts he was wearing at State Fair yesterday? Did you see that picture?
I mean, I was going to wait and discuss with him.
I feel like he should have a chance to defend himself a little bit.
Because
just a little bit.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what, we can't share the picture without his permission.
Yeah, we gotta wait. There's a good long tease for tomorrow's show, though. I can tell you that. 7:01 tomorrow, there'll be 100 people listening.
They're like brown camouflage. I don't even know how to describe them.
I'll deepen the tease. When I saw the picture, I responded with, those shorts look like an optical illusion. I've never seen a pair of shorts that they were shiny, but also had a 3-dimensional element.
They were weird. They were really weird, right? So I've got questions. He probably doesn't have answers, but we're going to ask those questions.
See, that's why I was willing to talk about it, because he's just going to be like, I don't know, I bought them on Amazon. And then we're going to be like, well, why do they look like that? I don't know. That's just what they look like.
Really good Chewy impression by you just now.
And also, Chef Ed asking, what's up with Jen? She is working on college football stories, scheduled to return tomorrow here to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. She's been really busy getting ready. I mean, week 0 for college football is going to be here before you know it, and she's going to be heading over to Ireland with the game day crew for the week 0 game that's happening over there. So just getting a bunch of stories ready for college football season, because we're almost halfway through August. High school football starts here in Wisconsin. The games starts a week from Friday. So football season is here. Packers preseason winners over the Cleveland Browns, but Josh and I were both impressed by the safety play. I know, it is 2024. Don't know the last time I said, hey, safeties, maybe a good thing for the Packers. We discussed that coming up next, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. But you can tune in to Thanalysis Show each and every week, presented by Gruber Law Offices. Thanasis Antetokounmpo hangs out with special guests for fun and even surprising conversation. Maybe it's his live show with Giannis, a chat with Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love, getting the inside scoop on fighting with Logan Paul, or any other one of TA's unique guests. Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Plus, you can subscribe to Thanalysis Show on YouTube to see exclusive video content from Thanasis. Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call. That's all.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, looks like we got a couple of things going on right now on 4394 northbound. Right on the high-rise bridge, we got a broken-down vehicle stuck in the left lane. A little bit further north than that, closer to Plankington Avenue, got the left lane blocked with a crash. So all this is adding up to delays all the way back to Oklahoma Avenue. We've also got a crash on westbound 94 at Barker Road, off on the right shoulder. Big delays all the way back past Moreland Road. And the westbound 894 also backing up from 27th Street to 68th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast. Today, partly cloudy, very low chance of an afternoon pop-up shower, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63 at the lake, 55 inland. Weather's brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
My Aunt Bella was telling a story, and her speech was a bit slurred. Her smile was drooping. Was she having a stroke? I knew it was time to run through the B FAST checklist. B, balance. Bella was fine. E, eyes. Her vision was fine. F, face. Oh, the drooping. A, arms. She could lift both arms. S, speech. Oh, definitely slurred. T, terrible headache. She had one. Signs of a stroke. I called 911 and saved Aunt Bella's life.
Brought to you by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services Coverdell Stroke Program.
Michael Quizon is the IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank. Before switching to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, they had a printer problem.
We talked to James Imaging. We said, we need to take down the number of printers that we have. What can we do?
The experts at James Imaging Systems researched your printing process, overall workflow, costs, supplies.
So we went from probably 120, 130 printers down to 50 some odd printers.
And
our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
Michael, the benefit as the bank's IT Systems Administrator?
I don't have to deal with printers. One less thing on my plate.
Anything to add about your experience?
In terms of James Imaging, they've been a great partner.
Switch to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher, and summer is here. But if you want your parking lots and asphalt to be ready for winter, you have to remember the 3 R's from Johnson & Sons Paving. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's constant standing water, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare customers or tenants away because of a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today before minor repairs end up being huge headaches. Schedule an appointment at johnsonsonspaving.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here for Carbless, my go-to drink this summer. Handcrafted right here in Wisconsin, Carbless is a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila cocktail. Perfect for hanging out on the patio by the grill, chilling on the lake, or tailgating at the Brewers game. Plus, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. All summer, make sure you're following Carbless on Instagram at Drink Carbless for your chance to win a Summer Bliss prize package. Find Carbless online and at retailers near you. Carbless. Liss is more.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, this world is geared towards women. Like, what do we
I
get?
am stepping away from this. Goodbye.
Like, what do we get? They get a comb that dries your hair. We get a stupid razor.
Hey,
What's the coolest thing we get? They get the hair dryer?
Control.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Join our conversation. 800-990-3776. That is the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. What stood out most to you from the Packers' preseason victory over the Cleveland Browns? I think Joshy and I, again, once you get past the wide receivers, and there's only so much you can glean from these preseason games because, like, the context of it all matters. Like, what is the other team running? What the other team, are they going to have their starters out there? For example, like, I wasn't really impressed with the Packers' defense in that opening drive against the Browns. Now, they eventually did get a sack from Lucas Van Ness. But before that, the Cleveland Browns were moving the ball quite effortlessly. However, the two young safeties that the Packers went out and drafted, in Evan Williams and Javon Bullard, they kind of give me some hope here, Joshy. Like, this has been a position that really since Nick Collins, we have been, as Packer fans, searching for a good safety. I mean, briefly, Charles Woodson played a little bit of safety toward the end of his time here, but I don't really count that.
I want to play a game before we even get any further.
Okay.
I want the fans to text us in the most random safety who played for the Packers that they can remember.
Okay, can I start?
I got MD Jennings on the tip of my tongue.
Atari Bigby.
Yeah, that's a good one. He laid some wood.
Oh, hey, that's NFC Defensive Player of the Month, December 2007. Atari Bigby.
He flew a little too close to the sun. Couldn't really do much other than hit really hard.
And a lot of times he ended up taking on his own guys. Happened once or twice with Atari Bigby. But, I mean, it's been a position of need, and it's been bad. And then to go grab Xavier McKinney, and then to the point where the Packers seemingly, in Hafley and LaFleur, seemingly so high on these safeties that Keyshawn Nixon could be losing playing time.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, this is a position that, wait, we have so many safeties. Like, we have so many good safeties that we like. We might be trying to play three of them on the field. Like, I feel under Joe Barry, sometimes there were three safeties on the field, and you're going, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah,
None of these guys.
That third guy?
Yeah. What are we doing? This position stinks. Why are we trying to get more of them on the field?
Yeah, what I found interesting and kind of what I was thinking about as I was watching both of those guys was the Packers we talk so much about how they love offensive linemen who can play multiple positions. It seems like they took that approach with the safety position where they drafted guys who are true safeties and drafted them as safeties, but both Bullard and Williams were guys that the scouts were saying they can play in the slot. Like, they can play multiple positions. And that's the same thing that they said about Xavier McKinney. Like, he lines up deep, like in the deep backfield. He can line up almost at like a safety position and at a linebacker position, excuse me. And then he can also play in that slot. And you saw all three of those guys where they kind of were Swiss Army knives for the Packers is the way they were approached, where Evan Williams was playing like true cornerback positions at times and was just coming up and making plays. Javon Bullard has been all over the field. I believe Evan Williams leads the Packers in training camp in like turnovers, and he forced a fumble.
Yeah, he's had, I think, like 4 interceptions in training camp. And maybe it's because he was wearing 33.
Yeah.
But I saw like shades of Micah Hyde.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because Micah Hyde was that guy, and the Packers used him more as a corner when he was here. But then when he had his best years in Buffalo, he was being used as that hybrid position where you were kind of floating back and forth. By the way, a couple of safeties here already on the talk and text line, 800-990-3776. Greg says Charlie Pepra.
That was the next one I had.
That is Super Bowl starting safety Charlie Pepra to you, Greg. And Jeremy chiming in with Chuck Cecil, who I feel might be, I mean, again, I don't remember that much about Chuck Cecil. You want to talk about a guy who reputationally just hit a bunch of guys? I feel like Chuck Cecil's a little too good for this list. Like, if we're renaming random safeties, to me, Chuck Cecil's too good.
He seems a little advanced on that level. Like, who even was the starting safeties last year opposite Darnell Savage? Anthony Johnson Jr. played some.
Yeah, Jonathan Owens played some.
That's the one I was forgetting.
Yeah. You know, again, like Adrian Amos was like a solid safety. He wasn't special, but you knew he was going to be assignment, sure, and then the tackling became an issue as he got older.
As he slowed down.
Yeah, it was not great.
I think the interesting thing about the way the Packers defense is constructed right now is just how different you can have a nickel package, but you can have an assortment of defensive backs out there that kind of give the defense an unsure nature of what the offense, what they're looking at. There's going to be like a multiple nature to it. They're not going to know who's going to be bringing pressure, who's going to be in the box that is going to drop out, who's just going to be able to play that slot position. Those are all things, and it's almost like now the Packers went from what are they doing at slot? They're kind of just throwing it. Like Keyshawn Nixon ended up there not because he was particularly impressive earlier in his career, it's just because they needed somebody to do it.
Yeah, but then they liked him to the point where they paid him money to do so this offseason. I wonder if these hybrid safety positions end up kind of being the new wave, because we all know the NFL's a copycat league, and I think of it was Deion Buchanan was like that hybrid like safety linebacker that the Cardinals used, and everybody thought, oh, this is what you're going to do. You're going to be able to go small, and you're going to be able to cut. Turns out it was too small to put somebody like that in the middle of your defense, and injuries started to happen, and especially with going to 17, potentially 18 games, I think being able to have...
I mean, Budda Baker was the same thing.
Budda Baker, yeah. I think being able to have maybe a more sizable guy playing in the slot might be able to help you play the run while also playing the pass. But again, these guys are hard to come by because Denzel Ward, who used to be a cornerback, now a safety, was run by Dontavian Wicks in this game as well. So it's interesting to see what the Packers are trying to accomplish defensively.
Yeah, and Jeff Hafley was a defensive backs coach in the NFL. We saw him just last week at training camp. He was in the individual drills with the corners, kind of coaching them up. So that seems to be where the strength of this defense is going to come. And it makes sense. That's where he would be the most comfortable. That's where he would have the best idea of what type of players would fit the things he's trying to do on the back end of the defense. Because we've spent a lot of time all worrying about who's going to get the sacks, Rashawn Gary, all that. But if you have a strong secondary, that does give you a lot of options up front to kind of get a little more creative. Eric Stokes is seemingly going to be the guy opposite Jair Alexander, and it seems like it's been a runaway, which makes me feel good that instead of the kicking battle we're having right now, where it's kind of two guys all the same, nobody's really differentiating themselves. It seems like Eric Stokes just took the position and now it's his. So to have You're looking at three spots and you have four guys you want to play there. I think that's a good thing, especially for rookies who are going to necessarily be better at different things than one another. So it gives you options based on what the offense is giving you and based on what you want to try and create. I think I'm excited about both those guys. Javon Bullard, I think, is kind of being not talked about enough, even though he's been impressive all through camp as well. He just doesn't have the big plays.
Joshy also wants to play a game. Name a random Packers safety. 800-990-3776. Jared with HaHa Clinton Dix. Fell hard after his rookie season. DJ in the Saw also wanting to add Charlie Pepra. Brandon. Jerron McMillan.
Oh, wow.
Jerron McMillan. Yeah. And then Ryan from Iguanago. Somebody who played last year for the Green Bay Packers that we also forgot about. Rudy Ford. Rudy Ford, who had 2 interceptions a couple years ago against Dallas. And oh man, maybe we've got somebody here. And no, not really.
The Packers safety is almost like the name that first baseman for the Brewers, where it's been journeymen or guys that came off the scrap heap that some of them performed. Eric Thames lit the world on fire for a season.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Aguilar was leading the NL in home runs for a season. It's kind of the same thing for the Packers safeties, except for I don't know if the Packers safeties have the highs that the first baseman for the Brewers did.
Jack says Bauju.
That's one I don't even remember.
You don't remember Bauju? Yes, Bauju was a safety. I want to say from 04 to 07 maybe.
How would I spell that? I see it.
Yep.
BHAWOH.
Yeah.
JUE.
Yeah. Bauju.
No.
Drafted out of Penn State. He was a third-round pick. He played for the Packers from 2001 to 2004.
01 to 04. I was a little off on the timeline.
He ended his career with the Florida Tuskers.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. Cool. What league are the Florida Tuskers in? Since you have his bio handy.
The UFL. They're a UFL team. They played one season, 2009 to 2010, before becoming the Virginia Destroyers.
How are they doing?
I don't know.
I think they're done. I think they disbanded.
I think, the last time the Virginia Destroyers existed was 2012. Hey, they won the UFL championship in 2011.
Okay, no, okay, we're too far deep now. Like, we're way too far. What do we? Okay, come on. Come on, Ashton.
They beat Las Vegas. I don't know who that
Why
team
are we answering this question? What are we doing answering this question?
Info. I got to ask.
There's 3-1 regular season.
That's it? 4 games?
4 games?
4 bleeping games?
Yeah, yep.
A fake league. You kidding me? You're wasting my time, Joshy.
Baujuza, if you would have lined up, is it a real player or a fake player? I would have said fake player on that one.
On Bauju?
That's one I forgot.
Yeah. I definitely did not forget that again. Because outside of... Look, Leroy Butler, really good. Nick Collins, really good. Outside of that, safety's been a position of not very good.
I do think it's interesting. The Packers have invested in positions that they traditionally sort of ignored. They did it at middle linebacker, and now they've done it at the safety position, which there seems to be a change there because the Packers, like other than A.J. Hawk, it was just kind of fill in the blank and try and find an older guy and try and find someone late in the draft. They've invested serious capital into positions they hadn't in the past.
They've invested in the safety position. When you've taken 3 safeties in the first round since 2014, you're investing in that position. Now,
yeah, I guess
the investments weren't necessarily good investments, but the investments were made.
Does Demarius Randall technically count as a safety?
He most certainly does.
That's where, because like the Ha Clinton Dix one, that felt like he was kind of a first round slide, and the Packers thought they got something there.
Yeah.
Who's the third one? First round safety.
We've already mentioned his name today. You asked who is starting next to this person. Was drafted as their second first-round pick in 2019. As the draft guy, the fact that you're whiffing on a pick from 5 years ago.
Get your ass off the UFL.
The Virginia Destroyers have taken over.
Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage is the answer that we're looking for. MD Jennings. Shout out to the Fail Mary. And that one coming from Earn. Blake saying Josh Jones. Mark Roman. A couple of random safeties. And
remember when Josh Jones demanded a trade and everyone was like, okay.
Sure.
For what?
Yeah. Sure. Chris Banjo coming from Clinton.
That's a good one.
Chris Banjo. 13-16. He was a safety for the Green Bay Packers. Palermo's Pizza is something that you need absolutely to have in your freezer at all times, especially now in the summer when you're going to be going out, you're doing stuff with the family, you're going to come home and be like, man, I just don't have time to make something that is, good for dinner, but I still want something that tastes great. And that's where Palermo's comes in. Even if you have a picky family, one maybe likes this type of pizza or this type of pizza. With Palermo's, you're going to find a slice that satisfies everyone's appetite. Because with Palermo's, we're not just talking about Palermo's. We're talking about Urban Pie, Connie's, Surfer Boy Pizza, Screamin' Sicilian. They've been doing this for over 60 years here in Wisconsin, so they know what to do when it comes to premium frozen pizza. Find them in your grocer's frozen food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got delays out there for sure. Northbound 4394 slowing down out of the Plainfield curve, all because of an accident right near the Marquette interchange that's blocking the left lane. So careful with that. On westbound 894, broken down vehicle right around 27th Street on the right shoulder. But that and all the construction is going to be slowing things down out of the Mitchell interchange all the way towards Forest Home. Traffic is brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Book your fantasy football draft party for a free draft kit, free room rental, free appetizers, and more. Dave & Buster's, your ultimate fantasy football draft experience. Visit dnbparty.com to get started. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, partly cloudy, very low chance for an afternoon pop-up shower, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Dive into the Marvel Universe on the official Marvel Podcast. We're going behind the scenes with the creators behind Marvel Comics, the stars of the MCU, and Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige.
But if you want the real answer, if we're trying to get real on this podcast,
celebrate the legacy of your favorite Marvel adventures and characters. The official Marvel Podcast.
I think this show's going to be a real treat.
New episodes every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
Are you ready to upgrade the concrete surfaces in your home? Let me tell you about Showtime Floors and Floor Shield. Would you believe I was talking about Floor Shield again last night at my kids' baseball game? A friend of ours was talking about how they got to redo their garage. They were cleaning out their garage and they were noticing the uneven surfaces of their floor. I was like, I got something for you. It's Floor Shield from Showtime Floors. I had no idea what we were missing, having the new epoxy put down on our floor. You guys can enjoy a 15-year warranty against wear. And just as a little favor to our loyal listeners, if you mention ESPN, they'll give you free crack repair and 10% off the total. This is something that I didn't even know we needed, and I am so thrilled we have it. You can get more information by visiting ShowtimeFloors.com, ShowtimeFloors.com, and tell them Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your Higher Love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at findhigherlove.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
My father would always say, and there's a rhyme and a reason to it. He said, if you wear your rubbers in the house, you'll go blind. Do the 2 youngsters on the show here even know what rubbers are? I'm talking the ones that go over the shoes.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Josh decided to play the game Name a Random Packer Safety. So continue to name your random Packer safety at 800-990-3776. Just a taste of what we have here on the talk and text line. MD Jennings, he had a pick 6 in Detroit. That's right. The doctor made a house call. That from Roberts in the Falls. Jared, going back to Baoju, who is, again, a Packers safety. That is a real name of a person who played in the NFL from 2001 to 2004 with the Packers. When Jared used to play NFL head coach on the Xbox, they used Baoju as a, quote, NFL comparison for scouting rookies. I avoided those guys every time.
NFL head coach. I forgot about that game existing.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you just play Madden? What was the impetus for playing NFL head coach versus not?
Because you just wanted to call the plays, I guess. I don't know.
So did you literally not do any of the game action? You just...
I don't recall.
Now I'm going to have to deep dive on
But
NFL
I think so. I think that's how that game works. Needless to say, I think there's only one iteration of that game.
Yeah.
Not that Mark Murphy, but a different Mark Murphy playing a strong safety spot for the Green Bay Packers. Because Mark Murphy played in the NFL. Yes. So, but it was in the 80s.
Yes.
So Mark Murphy was in the NFL, but he only played for Washington.
Yeah.
There was a different Mark Murphy who also played safety for the Green Bay Packers.
What's his stance on Aaron Rodgers? Or, Snow Hills?
I haven't. Yeah.
By the way, there have been multiple versions of that head coach game. Back-to-back years. There have been 2 years of that.
Really?
Yeah. 08 and 09.
You would know.
I looked it up. No,
Did
I've
you
never
play
played
it?
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
clearly nerdy McNerderson over there.
Of the games I would enjoy playing, probably that one is up there. Like, could you imagine if they made a manager's game for baseball? I would run that game.
See, here's the thing. I loved playing like the Dynasty version, especially with NCAA 25 coming out, where you're like building the whole thing. You're making your own playbooks. You're recruiting players. But the benefit is you then play the games as well.
Correct. Yeah.
You get to do all that stuff, and then, I get to do a sick juke move, and I get to pump my QB stats and make him a Heisman.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Presumably. Well, apparently not for NFL head coach.
I did say to Gabe in the break here, it's like, I can't believe what a hit is naming that random Packer safety. And Gabe smartly said it's dudes naming dudes.
Yeah.
Dudes love to name dudes.
Like, how many times on Twitter have you seen trending, like, name random 90s baseball player?
Yeah. And baseball is probably the best at it because there's some very funny names, funny nicknames. But the Packer safeties is making a big run at it.
Yeah.
Is it the safety position as a whole? Or, like, if you were to think, is safety the best position for dudes naming dudes on the Packers if you think back throughout history?
I mean, you could probably get some good running backs in there. I feel like that was a revolving door for a while, especially in the early Aaron Rodgers era.
You know what I think might be a good one, too, is tight ends.
Yeah, tight ends. That's been...
Oh, I got one. Mark Chmura.
It's been a bleep show, but maybe that's, put that in the back pocket. I don't want to just like start naming random positions.
I was just trying, because I think safety is the leader of the position groups where you're going to get, and probably corner too, just because there's so many of them on any given roster. Like Robert Rochelle was one of the highest graded Packers from the first preseason game, which is like a journeyman guy who knows what he's going to end up being. I think safety's a good one, though.
More people saying Atari Bigby. Yes, that is one that I had a custom Atari Bigby jersey and I wish I still had it. Like Atari Bigby, when I saw him, we went up to training camp, had to have been before 07, so I was still in college, and I saw his name on the roster. And all of a sudden, he just ascends to the point where he's starting. I'm like, I'm all in on Atari Bigby.
Was that ironic, or did you think that was a player that is a foundational cornerstone Packers piece?
When he is just flying around. Again, it's 2007. Getting lit up is still a big part of what, Monday Night Football is.
You got jacked up at that point.
You got jacked up. The big hits were still a big part of the NFL, so... You got a guy who's just flying around with reckless abandon, just lighting people up all over the place. I was all in.
YouTube has changed. It's become a lot of things. You can watch the show on YouTube like many people are right now. But YouTube is for Atari Bigby highlights and
100%.
watching highlight tapes of just random players throughout your childhood that you really enjoyed. I just turned it on, and I'm going to watch it here during this segment, kind of just catch flashes of Atari Bigby screaming down from the middle of the defense.
Again, he was, the year the Packers went to the NFC Championship game in 2007, he was the NFC Defensive Player of the Month in December. Big time. It's big time, Joshy.
That's one of those things that I didn't remember, but now when you mention it, it brought back to my memory.
That's how big of an Atari Bigby fan I am, Josh. I am never going to forget that he was Defensive Player of the Month in the NFC in December of 2007. That is ingrained in my brain. That is not going anywhere anytime soon. Anytime soon. People are loving the Atari Bigby. Mark Roman also getting some love now as a safety for the Green Bay Packers.
Sorry if I don't talk here. I got the Atari Bigby highlights going. He actually made more plays on the ball than I expected.
Oh, he had 5 interceptions in 2007?
All I remember was the hits.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's football and those are kind of things that stick with you. But he was making some plays.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Probably an injury or two.
Was he just an issue to his teammates where he played with such reckless abandon it wasn't worth keeping him around for that?
Because he was playing with such reckless abandon, he also got injured a lot.
Yeah, that's probably.
So I think the injuries kind of slowed him down because he wasn't necessarily a guy that could afford to lose a step. And then when the injuries started to slow him down,
Forced fumble against the Seahawks I just saw there. Late in the wood, baby.
Yeah, Joshy's lost. He's lost in the sauce. You can get lost in the sauce too. Relive the greatest postseason run in Bucks history with the Bucks in 6 podcast. Bucks in 6 presents a special series commemorating the Bucks title run in 2021. From the thrilling 7-game series against the Nets to the 50-piece from Giannis in the finals, immerse yourself in the sounds of each playoff round. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now, bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink. Wilde and Tausch.
Did you get nervous as a player, first of all, before matchups with Bruce Irvin or whatever it might have been?
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
He's such a jerk, isn't he? He just can't help himself. He's got perfect kids. They eat all of their vegetables and everything else. And nothing, but Jason loves to throw pot shots whenever he can. Have you noticed that about him?
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
It's still summer in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin Harley-Davidson in Oconomowoc has you covered for fun in the sun. From bike nights to Saturday rides, or maybe just some retail therapy like a new motorcycle, or just a little something for yourself, there's always something going on. Check out Wisconsin Harley-Davidson at WISHD.com and like and follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and online at WISHD.com. Don't just see the world, feel it. Right here, right now. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss for Road America. The best place in Elkhart Lake is America's National Park of Speed. Make the most out of your summer at Road America. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Up next is the GT World Challenge August 16th through the 18th. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
There's lots to see and do at the Dodge County Fair. Fun for me and you. There's good times in the air.
A delicious cream puff, country and rock concerts, and you coming out to the Dodge County Fair would make it better. I'm Michelle Stengler, your 2024 Dodge County Fairers of the Fair, inviting you to join us August 14th through the 18th for 5 unforgettable days of fun. Come join from dancing to Tracy Birdsong favorite Watermelon Crawl to the meat animal sale on Thursday evening to checking out our youth and open class exhibitors. Enjoy a lunch from our food trucks to the co-op building supporting many agricultural organizations and have fun at our carnival rides. Join us near Beaver Dam August 14th through the 18th at the Dodge County Fair. Find daily schedules and ticket information at DodgeCountyFairgrounds.com or follow along on Facebook and Instagram at Dodge County Fairers of the Fair.
So come on everyone to the Dodge County Fair.
Now at Menards, get everything you need for your next project.
Save big on Menards' unbeatable selection of roof coatings. Seal Best White Elastomeric Roof Coating restores your roof, stops leaks, and is backed by a 10-year warranty. Get a 4.75-gallon pail on sale now through August 18th. Save big money on your next roofing project at Menards and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You called them a white
find someone
stiff
else.
earlier.
From one white stiff to another, I'm pretty well versed in the realm of stiffs.
On 94.5 ESPN.
A couple more names that people just want to sprinkle in. I think we're starting to run out of names, though. Name a random Packers safety, 800-990-3776. Starting because, well, the Packers safeties, the two rookies that they have, plus Xavier McKinney starting to look good for the Packers. Alan Kohler saying Jarrett Bush, Micah Hyde. Josh and Heartland adding Aaron Rouse. There was a scouting report on him that you cannot, I don't even know if I should repeat it. But if you,
avoid it.
Yeah, but you can look it up if you'd like. A legitimate scouting report from him from like 2002, 2003. And then don't forget Mike Pryor coming from Matt G.
Chewy's guy.
Yeah, Mike Pryor commitments.
I'm looking at like the 2000 safeties depth chart right here, 2017. Morgan Burnett, Clinton Dix. Pretty good. They were
You
fine
felt pretty
then.
good. I mean, Morgan Burnett was solid. Like, Morgan Burnett, after you get past Nick Collins, like, he was a solid member of the Packers for a while, even had a couple of good years in Pittsburgh after.
Did Aaron Taylor get some play at the safety for the Packers? That's a name that seems to ring a bell in my head.
Aaron Taylor was a guard on the Super Bowl teams.
Maybe that's why I'm being incepted.
Yeah.
Because there apparently was a safety on the Packers 2017 team named Aaron Taylor.
That team didn't make the playoffs, right?
2017 did not make the playoffs, correct.
Bryce Kentrell.
Maybe that says something.
I remember Bryce.
Rayshon Pringle.
Yeah. Pringle all the way. That's my nickname for
All
him.
right, well, speaking of Pringles and food, you boys, I mean, separately, but still went to State Fair this weekend. Any big takeaways from your State Fair? Because I still famously have not been to the State Fair, have not gone to the Stone Fate, have not gone to the State Fair. Never, ever.
No, this
never been
is
to the
his
State
thing.
Fair.
Because Gabe, Captain Stubborn, salute. Just the worst person. Josh, between you and me right now, between you and me right now, Gabe, the worst.
If you guys would have invited me to the State Fair, I would have gone.
You have two legs.
Well, I'm just going to go to the State Fair by myself, like a
Call
loser?
somebody. You got a million friends. I didn't go with Josh. We went on separate days.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you just kind of go. I used to not go. I used to be avowed against it. I'm not a huge crowds person unless I'm going to like a concert, a sporting venue where I can kind of, I have my spot. I know where I'm going. You deal with the crowd for a bit, it goes away. I've recently become, through not really choices of my own, a State Fair person. I had a good time yesterday, though. You just grab a couple beers. It's not just your standard domestics. They have like microbrews. They have all sorts of things. And when you go with somebody who, like Mussolini, who has a plan, you kind of just tag along.
Of course, Mussolini has a plan.
Yes, some of them better than others. Some of them more dangerous than others. We had a map with highlighted areas to go for all the Sporkies, which is the contest they do for like the special foods.
The foods,
This is extremely relatable.
Yeah. So
wait, did your significant other also make a map and highlight it?
My future sister-in-law did, and we have a shared note between my fiance and her two little sisters who also live up here. Like, hey, these are all the foods we want to try at State Fair this year. And then it was, you need to go in and put your name next to the one you want to actually go and get. Otherwise, we're not stopping there. Like, what? I'm driving there. I can go wherever I want. That's not how it works.
That's interesting. Yours was a little more of a democracy than Mussolini's was.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it was. It was more
again.
Based on history, Josh, that's not surprising. My situation was like it's more of vote if you want, but it's not really going to matter because we're doing what I say.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
That's also. There's also been elections like that throughout history.
I did get water though, so that's I got to eat.
So you
fried
got
foods.
Putin, I got Mussolini.
Wait, so you had to? I'm uncomfortable.
I think I win. Shirt's on though.
I've derailed us.
Yeah, you think?
What he does.
Wait, so you had to sign up for something that you were going to stand in line for, Ashton, and then bring back to the group so everybody could try it?
Yeah, or we would all stand in line if all of us wanted to try it. I actually respected the system, but it also, it did not allow me to do what I think Josh and I both want to do at the State Fair, which is just walk around and people watch and grab some brewskis and some deep fried Oreos or what. I just want to walk around and hang out. I did not get that opportunity.
So I was granted
I had a good time, though.
The wonderful outcome of being able to try things and not have to wait in line. Well, the people who are really interested in the Sporkies waited in line. I found the local venues and I stopped. I watched 4 or 5 different cover bands. I sat at bars. I had a cold beer in my hand the entire time. It was great. The experience there was wonderful. It was a little more crowded than I like, but once you get off and you find yourself a stool or a seat, who really cares what's going on around you? You got plenty of good people watching. Stylists' finest, we're out in full force, especially for the last day.
I was about to say, it's the last day
yes,
of
you
State
got to
Fair.
get it in. Got to get it in. Saw multiple people who announced loudly that they had been to all 11 days, which...
Is that an accomplishment?
Yeah, I mean... You're not even hungover once?
11 days. There's a lot to do, but...
I mean,
11 days?
Even when Summerfest wasn't 3 weekends, and it was just the 10 days, they always took the Monday off, So at least if you were going to every day of Summerfest, you got a break in there.
The people working there aren't even there 11 days.
Correct. 11 days in a row for the State Fair seems like a lot.
How do you get used to that
seems
smell?
expensive.
Yeah. You got to know somebody with
yes,
tickets.
That was coming up quick, but...
Well, yeah, clearly you know someone for tickets, but I'm just talking about the food in there. I'm guessing that the creations aren't exactly the cheapest thing that they're putting together.
I think you can just get a dog or something or a burger. You don't have to go... the Sporkies list is where some of the interesting stuff is.
Yeah.
I had the deep fried lemonade bites from Saz's. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah,
I understand why it won.
Absolutely fantastic.
Wait, so that was the gold medal winner?
Yes.
So it was, and this is a shout out to my fiance she described it as this 70 times. It's like a deep fried donut with lemonade flavored curd on the inside.
Yes.
Okay.
It was great. It was fantastic though.
I did try the hot ham and glazers.
Absolutely not. No.
I was not a big fan of that. The
Disgusting.
rest of the crowd loved it.
So that was a glazed donut as the bun for a hot ham and cheese sandwich?
On each side. So it was 2 donuts
ham
and
sauce.
then hot ham
Yeah.
in the middle there. I also had the Cool Ranch Doritos pickle. I'm a pickle guy, so I enjoyed that as well.
Your big pickle head?
A big pickle head. We had the elote corn bite. Also the pickle lemonade.
I'm not sorry. I miss you guys sometimes. Not a lot, though.
It really wasn't that funny. It just broke me for whatever reason. Oh, you big pickle head, huh?
To me, I was like, yeah, pickle head. Of course. Love a good pickle. I think I never used to do the Sporkies things when I went to State Fair. I kind of just went and would get the typical, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, get something deep fried and call it a day.
You get something deep fried, you get the corn, the roasted corn, and then you find yourself a dog or burger and you move on. But when you have a goal, it makes it actually fun. It's like a game.
How many different things did you try yesterday?
I think we got around 8 to 10.
Okay.
There was a group of 6 of us, so we kind of all rotated through who bought what. And I mean, we were trying a bite of things at times. I tried a bite of the glazer, and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. Some things, the cheese curd tacos also had those as well. Wonderful. It's just tacos with cheese curds as the base, and then they put fixins on it. So you got a buffalo chicken, you got a pizza, all sorts of different things.
Oh, I had s'mores ice cream. Forgot about that from the Expo
I didn't
Center.
do any ice cream. That was kind of a mistake.
Yeah,
I feel like you need some custard or ice cream at the fair.
Yeah, I mean, the dairy state, Josh. Come on, step up.
It is.
I do.
So when you go, Ashton, are you looking for any inspirations that you may add to the food truck?
No. No,
Okay.
I'm not. Because I respect so much the weird sporky, things that come out, but you can't serve that regularly. You can't serve hot ham and glazers, every day. You can't serve... Well, maybe you could serve the lemonade donut bites. Those are pretty good. Maybe you could serve those. It's also false advertising, if I may, for a minute here. We're going to get some classic Ashton here.
Uh-oh. Dear Lord.
They're not deep fried lemonade.
Okay.
It's just not.
All right.
It's
you know
not.
what? You need to just move on.
Is they should freeze it. And the other thing about all these sporky things is the best thing that I had there, of all the different things that I tried, and similarly, tough one.
Here we go. One more time.
Just like Josh, it was like 8 to 10. The best thing I had was deep fried peanut butter cups. Best thing. Keep it simple. Just take candy, put it in batter, deep fry it, give it to Ashton. Simple.
Are you done, old man? You done yelling at your cloud now? Can we move on?
This is newfangled creations.
I'm just saying, take an ice cube of lemonade and freeze it.
Okay, all right. We're done. We're done here.
You have a deep fryer, right? Why don't you try this then, mister? It's so easy. Just
do this.
It's a good idea.
Can you imagine a donut? If you're doing like a donut, you can't just deep fry lemonade. It's going to leak out.
Correct.
Well, it's not a donut. They don't say it's... Never mind.
They're called lemonade bites.
No, they say it's deep fried lemonade.
Jason Wilde had something interesting to say about Xavier McKinney yesterday on Sunday Karma. We react to that in 2 minutes. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, things are starting to improve a little bit. Northbound 4394, just one accident left over. This is right around at Holt Avenue off on the left shoulder. Delays all the way back into the Plainfield curve. They continue up past the accident scene, though, all the way up to the high-rise bridge. Westbound 94, backing up from before 27th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's heavy from 92nd all the way through the stadium to 35th. And then on southbound 43, we've got some backups from before Hampton Avenue, pretty much all the way down towards Locust. And then on the northbound side, Locust up to Keith, going to be a bit heavy as well. Traffic is brought to you by Johnson & Sons Paving. Follow the 3 R's of asphalt maintenance to avoid minor issues becoming huge headaches. Reseal, repair, and replace. Learn more at johnsonsonspaving.com. And check out the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today. Partly cloudy, very low chance for an afternoon pop-up shower, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63 at the lake, 55 inland. Weather is brought to you by Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America. The GT World Challenge is coming up August 16th through the 18th. Get your tickets today and check out the full season schedule at roadamerica.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Wait. Skechers put the S in comfort?
Yes, comfort you have to feel to believe. Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Let me try. Okay, I'm just stepping in and... Oh, wow. Skechers put the S in comfort.
Duh. We told you. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hi, this is Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. You're listening to ESPN Milwaukee, 94.5 WKTI HD.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
In true Chewy fashion, right before we turn on our microphones, because when it comes to working out, how long can I wear these shorts before I have to wash them?
What, do you smell something?
Do I smell something? What am I, hard of smelling? Of course I smell something.
What is it?
Wear it once, wear it twice, wear it 3 times. And when... What prompted the question to myself?
You start to smell them a little bit?
Not smell, they're a little dirty.
What do you mean by dirty?
It's B.O. The valet must have had B.O.
Can't be. Nobody has B.O. like this.
Jerry, it's B.O.
But the whole car smells.
Like some sweat stains or other types of stains?
I don't know what that is.
Because the other type of stains, probably, throw them in there.
Well, that's only with the whites. The whites are definitely 2. And you have to look at the backside to be like, all right, yeah.
So when somebody has B.O., the O usually stays with the B. Once the B leaves, the O goes with it.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but
I don't know how to feel about this sound that I heard over the weekend. Because Jason Wilde, and understandably so, singing the praises of Xavier McKinney. Seems like everybody has. Once he has arrived in Green Bay, anybody who's crossed his path, everybody's singing the praises of the newest safety for the Green Bay Packers. Expected to be a big key in this Jeff Hafley defense. Hafley talked about safety after he was hired, which is why a lot of people thought the Packers could sign and then ultimately did sign Xavier McKinney this offseason. Now, he really didn't stand out in the preseason game. Wasn't on the field much. Didn't really have an opportunity to stand out. But when Jason Wilde says something like this about a person I know he has the highest reverence for when it comes to their professional football career, I listen. And here's what Wilde said yesterday on Sunday Karma about Xavier McKinney.
I'm on the X train. I spent an extended amount of time one-on-one with him last week, and you forget he's 24. And Tausch is going to give me grief about this when he hears this clip, I'm sure. But he reminds me he's younger. He's not as accomplished. I'm not saying he's going to become this player. But he gives me some Charles Woodson vibes.
Wow.
Like really confident, really knows his stuff, knows that guys are looking to him to try and follow his lead. Now, again, he's 24. He is nowhere near the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I got that kind of, in talking with him, he's got a little bit of that presence, and we'll see if he develops that further and develops his game. But I really like everything that he's about.
When you hear that, Joshy, what's your reaction to Jason Wilde saying he's getting, again, he's not calling him Charles Woodson, much like last year Matt LaFleur wasn't calling Dontavian Wicks Devontae Adams. But when you throw that comparison out, Jason's been around long enough, he knows people are going to hear that. And he's getting Charles Woodson vibes off of Xavier McKinney.
When Jason is that effusive in his praise of anyone, I take serious attention to it. Jason, and Tausch makes fun of him all the time on Wilde and Tausch, of kind of protecting himself in ways on everything and kind of giving a caveat. So, like, don't take this out of context. But when he speaks so highly of someone, it does make me interested. I think we've kind of almost forgotten about Xavier McKinney at this point of the offseason and training camp, just because he's kind of the guy everyone knows is going to play there. He's making plays, but he's not that. The Packers went out and signed somebody to a pretty big contract, a guy who, for whatever reason, the New York Giants made available, which seems like it was just a mistake on their part for Xavier McKinney to hit free agency. When the praise is that big of Charles Woodson, a guy who's a legendary Green Bay Packer, to go with his legendary Raiders career, I understand where the comparison comes from. If the Packers have somebody, which is going to be, he said 24 multiple times there. I mean, that gives him 8 to 10 years left in his career. If the Packers keep a guy like that around who's going to be a difference maker, somebody you can just rely on. He's plug and play. Every single time the defense goes on the field, Xavier McKinney's going to be there. Is he going to be making plays every single time? We haven't seen that yet. But as you said, Jeff Hafley made it clear that that free safety position was extremely important. They went out and got the guy, and he seems to at least be playing the part to this point, which I think is extremely exciting for someone who probably his best days of football, you would imagine, are still ahead of him at 24 years old.
Yeah, and the 24 thing, the leadership aspect is also what I find interesting, because trying to figure out who the leaders of this team are, like, I think people look to Kenny, but at this point, Kenny's pretty quiet, right? Like, Kenny's more of a lead by example type guy. Like, Rashawn Gary's got his own stuff to figure out, in terms of worrying about being a leader. We know Jair wants to be looked at like a leader.
Yes.
I don't know if I want Jair to be looked at like a leader. I think he's really good, but I also, he's got some eccentricities to him.
When he's minding his P's and Q's, that's the guy you want being a leader. When he's calling his own number on the coin toss,
not great. Not great. So there is, I think, while we talk about the offense and how, Romeo Doubs is certainly looked up to, I think, by the offense. Obviously, it's Jordan Love's team. So offensively, you know who that guy is, especially as Jordan continues to come into his own. But defensively, after you get past Kenny Clark, I think Preston Smith is kind of a lead by example, quiet guy as well. Yeah. But this is probably it for Preston. Like, this is going to be likely his last year in Green Bay at 31 years old, contract running out, Lucas Van Ness right behind him. Seems like this could be it for Preston. So, I mean, Xavier McKinney, and I think that's the thing that Jason is really trying to, again, put the caveats on, and when he's getting those vibes. He's talking, I think, about being a defensive leader the way that Charles Woodson was a defensive leader for the Packers.
We spent a whole segment, that's how we ended up naming random safeties.
Marquand Manuel also being added to that list, 800-990-3776.
We spent time talking about those young safeties, and having a leader for those young guys can be extremely beneficial because there's tons of players you see throughout the NFL who flash the abilities, but for whatever reason don't work out. Maybe they didn't have that leader, that support. I mean, you heard Jair Alexander, who, runs to the beat of his own drum there, kind of talking about how he looks up to Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
So if a guy like that is looking across and looking behind them, if you have that trust in terms of the leadership from an established player, an all-pro level player, and then someone who can kind of teach those young guys who are, at this point, not even close to what they're going to end up being as NFL products, you have to imagine what Xavier McKinney can do from just a leadership on the defensive side of the ball as a whole, but then in the development of those young players that can maybe get a little bit more out of them, help them kind of figure things out, figure out defenses, learn to read offenses. Just that factor can't be overstated enough for what that can do for a defense that is looking to kind of change its reputation here.
When I hear Jason say something like this, it gives me legitimate hope at this position. Yeah. And as fun as it was to see Evan Williams and Javon Bullard run around and make plays, but you always, because it's a preseason game, you're taking it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, some of those guys aren't going to be on the team next week.
At best, you were playing against some twos,
yes,
more than likely some threes, and we're expecting you to be part of a number one defensive unit group. Now, would I much rather have them running around and making plays against twos and threes? Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a good step in the right direction. But you always have to kind of take some of these things with a grain of salt in preseason because you just don't know. Right. You don't know who's out there. You don't know what the other team's doing. Obviously, everybody's running vanilla stuff. So that's why when I hear Jason say something like that about Xavier McKinney, like that gives me even more hope in this position versus what I saw in the game. Because Jason's around the team. He just mentioned he spent extended time with him for a piece that he's working on. Like when Jason is going to drop that type of praise on a player, it catches my attention and gives me hope more so than guys running around making plays in a preseason game.
Are you getting closer to believing that the Packers have a defense this time around? No? You haven't even inched?
No.
You're stuck?
No. Because how many times are we going to do this, Josh? Like, how many times is Lucy going to hold the football and I'm just going to start running full speed only for her to pull the football away?
I feel like I'm going to have to be the guy saying I believe in the defense and just put my neck out there with, at this point, has had 100% get chopped off rate.
Pretty good odds there. I don't know, buddy.
I feel like I want to do a Chewy. You know how he puts time limits to get on his side?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to put like a week 2 of the NFL season limit on either you're a believer in the defense or I don't want you talking about the defense as being good because we've seen it before. And I thought Domofsky was interesting on it because Jason brought up the same thing of believing in the defense and Jeff Hafley and all these things. And he said, last year, Jair Alexander said, we're going to be more aggressive. So did Rasul Douglas. But the difference this time, he said, is I think back then they were hoping, whereas in now...
More kind of a wishful thinking type thing.
They were told that, and they were hoping, and they were kind of selling themselves the story. Where now it seems like it's actually playing out, where there seems to be a distinct attitude change on the defense. And now it was 3 plays. But the question we all started to ask was, well, is the offense just not good, and that's why the first-team defense looks so good against them? I mean, they came out and threw a 65-yard touchdown. It was a slot fade.
Yeah.
But with that much talent out there, Dontavian Wicks, the 4th guy at the wide receiver position, just blows by the starting defensive back for the Browns. Like, there's talent there.
Yeah, but I just look at that defense, and yes, I agree. I think there's an attitude change. Am I hopeful in the defense? Absolutely. I'm still not sold that they have enough talent defensively. I'm not sold on that. Like, when Devontae Wyatt is a big reason why Lucas Van Ness gets a sack. Like, based on the body of work that Devontae Wyatt has through 2 years, I'm going, okay, that whatever backup offensive lineman the Browns have in right now must stink, right? The fact that Devontae Wyatt is just blowing through your line.
See, I think Devontae Wyatt knows how to rush the passer and not much else. So in pass rushing situations, he's an absolute asset. I was, Chewy has mentioned, where's Lucas Van Ness? Well, there he is.
Yeah.
You saw him making a sack. He did the thing that I want Rashawn Gary to do, is actually get the guy in the ground.
Yeah.
Enough of this pressure junk. Tackle the guy, sack him. I think Jeff Hafley has put players in a better position to succeed. I think the lack of two-gapping stuff is going to make a difference up front, where Kenny Clark and TJ Slayton, who slimmed down and is now seems to be the starter next to Kenny Clark, which is an interesting thing with a first-round pick Devontae Wyatt.
That's what I'm saying. So that has certainly caught my attention.
Which leaves Kyle Brooks, a guy who, in limited snaps, much like Dontavian Wicks, was incredibly impressive.
Mm-hmm.
They have options up front. Lucas Van Ness seems to be doing fine.
He's getting better, I would say that.
Rashawn Gary had 3 sacks and 3 plays. I haven't really heard much from him since then, since Andre Dillard kind of stopped getting those big-time plays. But if you combine a different look up front, getting more pressure, and all that talent on the backside, you have to be Joe Barry to screw it up, is where I'm standing.
Yeah, I still don't know if they can generate, because the one time they did generate the pressure and get the sack, they brought a 5th guy.
Yes. And
can they? The biggest question is, can you generate pressure with 4? And I don't know if that question is going to be answered. And if you want to put a timeline on it, I don't think that question's getting answered week 1. I don't think that question's getting answered week 2. Because on occasion, maybe you get pressure with 4, but being a really good defense is being able to do that consistently week in and week out.
Call me crazy. In the first preseason game, I said, we're bringing more pressure than we ever did. Than Joe Barry's defense. And I saw like 4 blitzes, but that felt like in the preseason, I was like, holy cow, they're sending a linebacker here. I think there's just a different, for the Packers defense, with the few additions they have to end up being a considerably good defense, we'd have to consider Joe Barry like one of the worst defensive coordinators in football in like the last 10 years. And I think I'm willing to be there on it.
No, I think he is. But again,
because I think you have to sell yourself on him being that bad and that ineffective for the defense to have such a quick turnaround.
I still don't know if they have enough talent defensively.
At this point,
there's literally nothing that they can do in preseason to prove that Quay Walker is actually a good first-round pick, that Rashawn Gary can be one of the top pass rushers in the NFL, like he's getting paid to be, that Devontae Wyatt was worth it as a first-round pick, that Lucas Van Ness continues to grow. Again, good that Van Ness is getting sacks against the backup offensive line unit for the Cleveland Browns, but there's not much they can do to go out there and prove to me that this is a changed team and that this is actually going to be a good defense. John texting in, Lucy isn't holding the football anymore, Gabe. Yes, she is, John.
Who's Lucy in this scenario?
The Packers.
The Lucy to me was Joe Barry.
No, because it's more than just that. Like, you go back to the hashtag Fire Dom Capers days. Like, Dom was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Game probably passed him by a little bit. His last couple of years in Green Bay weren't very good.
So did his hairstyle.
So then so then they move on to Mike Pettin. It's kind of more of the same.
Yeah.
And then we move on to Joe Barry, which, probably a little worse, but more of the same. Right? Like, it's the Packers' overall defense. This has been going on for damn near a decade of people trying to tell me that the Packers have a really good defense. And they haven't had a really good defense since the second half of 2014.
They're breaking the trend. I think you're too scarred.
The Packers are the one is Lucy, right? To me, it's not Joe Barry. The Packers are the one holding the football.
And you're Charlie Brown.
Yes.
And the football is a good defense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Checking.
You just did a verbal meme there.
Yeah.
You're welcome, world.
Thanks for clarifying, I guess.
Aren't you guys glad I'm back?
Yeah, so glad. Don't you have like donuts, like lemonade donuts to be going and making?
To complain about?
Yeah, he's just sitting over there, old man. We've spent a lot of time talking about the defense today. There are a couple of things offensively that I want to talk about, particularly the running backs, and maybe we should be a little worried about this offensive line. We will do that after I let you know that if you're looking for a better used car interest rate at Ewald, they make it easy. Of course they do. They're Ewald. To save thousands during the used car rate reduction event. Rates as low as 4.9% on Ewald Automotive Group's best used cars. 4.9% on over 600 vehicles at 10 locations. Increase your purchase power with a better used car from the name Milwaukee has trusted for over 60 years. Race to your local Ewald to get this deal until August 31st. Go to ewaldauto.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We got some problems on northbound 4394. First of all, there's an accident just north of Holt Avenue off on the left shoulder. And then another one in the backup to this, right in the Plainfield curve. The left lane is blocked with this. It's a car basically perpendicular into the median wall. Now, crews are out there trying to clean this up, but it's going to be a bit tight heading through there, so give them a little bit of a wide berth there. Westbound 894 slow out of the Mitchell interchange all the way to about 68th Street. We got the northbound side of 43 heavy from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keefe. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today, partly cloudy, very low chance of an afternoon pop-up shower, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63 at the lake, 55 inland. Weather's brought to you by Higher Love Cannabis Company. Find your Higher Love today, only 59 miles from Green Bay. Find higherlove.com/CBD. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Add a little inspiration and education to your classroom. Junior Achievement of Wisconsin is looking to connect with teachers, school administrators, parents, or even grandparents to bring our hands-on learning programs in financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship to your school. Learn how we can help set your students up for success. Visit wisconsin.ja.org to connect. Junior Achievement, inspiring, preparing, succeeding.
Monica, Sarah, have you heard the good news?
What is it? Joe Gerke says our new store in Bristol, Wisconsin, otherwise known as Kenosha, will be open this autumn.
Kessler's Diamonds is opening a new store.
Indeed we are. It's located off I-94 and Highway 50.
We should reach out and tell people in the area that we're hiring.
Monica, that microphone is on. Tell them what we're looking for.
Do you love people? Do you smile a lot? Are you the person that all your friends come to when they need help or advice?
Kessler's Diamonds is one of the top engagement ring stores in America.
And we're also the largest employee-owned jewelry company in the world.
You're going to love working for Kessler's Diamonds.
You're going to love shopping at Kessler's Diamonds.
Diamond engagement rings.
Diamond tennis bracelets.
Diamond stud earrings.
Diamond anniversary bands.
And big anniversary diamonds.
We do diamonds magnificently because diamonds are all we do.
To apply for a job or find out more about us, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Everybody knows if it's summer season, it's festival season. And Potawatomi has the winningest one, WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. $25 grand in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at pacebig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnatthebog.com.
If you're planning a night out in Milwaukee, you should enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. I was there last night. I was showing it to my girls. My daughter said, "Mommy, can we come here more often?" I was like, heck yeah, we can. She loved the art in the lobby, the horse sculpture that they have right when you walk in, and you will enjoy all of the culinary creativity, the deluxe accommodations, and those on-site art galleries if you go to St. Kate as well. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill.
It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Bumble is a dating app.
It's tuna.
I love tuna. I had some last night.
How do you eat your tuna?
Can we, for once, grow up on this show?
On 94.5 ESPN.
We have been pretty high in our praise of the safety position of the Green Bay Packers coming out of the preseason game over the Cleveland Browns. And look, the quarterback position I think was fun to watch. Sean Clifford had a few scoring drives. Michael Pratt looked all right. Obviously, Jordan Love had the touchdown pass. But I think there's a conversation to be had of what is going on at that number 2 running back position. I mean, we know Josh Jacobs is going to be the starter. They brought back A.J. Dillon. They drafted Marshawn Lloyd. And yet it's Emmanuel Wilson who probably had the best game out of all of them. Lloyd comes out with an injury. A.J. Dillon looked like... A.J. Dillon has kind of looked the last couple of years that led him to getting this non-guaranteed deal he's currently on. And I would think coming out of this game that Wilson could possibly be RB2 for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, just based on body type and style of running, it seems like A.J. Dillon is the more is the option to back up Josh Jacobs in terms of like a hard runner. The problem is,
how about he runs hard then?
The problem is every time A.J. Dillon is given the opportunity in recent history to run hard, the fourth down in this previous game to mention, he seems to not do it. And
back-to-back 3rd and short, 4th and short, they give it to A.J. Dillon. Guess what doesn't happen?
A first down.
No first down.
Which is, I understand based on body type and the way you view these people, that the guy you would want to replace Josh Jacobs would obviously just be A.J. Dillon, because Josh Jacobs is different from Aaron Jones. Josh Jacobs is different from a lot of running backs. He's kind of more that grinded out, fight for short yardage, use the body as an advantage when you're facing some of those smaller guys. Marshawn Lloyd has had an issue staying on the field, being on the field, coming out with a hamstring injury in this one, where it seems like they want the inverse of what they had last year. The Packers want the bigger bodied guy, this time being Josh Jacobs, to be the feature, and they want Marshawn Lloyd to kind of be the get exotic change of pace guy, whereas Aaron Jones was the guy they wanted to feature, with A.J. Dillon kind of being in support. I know A.J. Dillon is appealing to the Packers because of his how cheap he is to keep on the roster. He's a guy who loves Green Bay, loves Wisconsin, loves to be there, and by all accounts has had a good training camp and worked really hard to kind of change his body type. I mean, Matt LaFleur in a video clip that the Packers shared was talking about A.J. Dillon having abs now. It's a big guy to have abs. It's a large fella. But every time he's given opportunity, he seems to biff it. And if you keep biffing every opportunity you're giving, what's going on here? And the other option is Emmanuel Wilson.
Well, so 2 spots are safe.
Yes.
2 roster spots at the running back position are safe. Obviously, Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
And even though he's injured right now, like Marshawn Lloyd, he's a 3rd-round pick.
Yes. He's
not going anywhere. So that leaves potentially 1 running back spot, which, by the way, the Packers the last couple of years have opened up with only 2 on the roster.
Right.
I have a hard time imagining that happening this year and this time around. So that potentially just leaves 1 spot for those 2. And if I have to choose between those 2, it's an easy decision, Josh. It's an easy decision.
Yeah.
Unless something happens over the next half of a month, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, where A.J. Dillon just suddenly looks like he did against the Tennessee Titans his rookie year. It's an easy decision. And I don't see that A.J. Dillon walking through the door anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we talked about the starters not really playing the rest of the way. I think we're going to see a lot of A.J. Dillon. I think A.J. Dillon is going to be the guy that is the established player that is going to keep having to prove that he has what he's shown in training camp. The problem, I think, with Emmanuel Wilson is I think he's kind of that quadruple A type player where he looks really good in the preseason. He looks good against the backups, but when it comes time to shine, he's kind of just a guy. But so far, A.J. Dillon just looks like just a guy to me.
A.J. Dillon looks below just a guy.
Yeah. I think his pass catching ability for someone that size is something the Packers do like about him.
It seems like you are coming up with every excuse in the book to be like, oh, A.J. Dillon's going to be their guy. Like, you're just coming up with excuses. Like, then every last one of them is flimsy.
Yes. I'm coming up with excuses to prepare myself for A.J. Dillon being the third guy.
I don't think he's going to be the third guy. I don't know how you can reasonably keep him as your third guy over Emmanuel Wilson at this point. And look, maybe they feel like they can, like they did last year, put Emmanuel Wilson on the practice squad and call him up. And if there's injuries, make him an active member of the roster. Maybe they can do sort of things like that. But also, you could probably do that with A.J. Dillon, too. The door isn't going to be busting down. Yeah, the door's not going to be busting down with people going, oh, A.J. Dillon, I need that guy on my 53-man roster.
What I'm trying to do here is I'm not some A.J. Dillon stan. I'm not supporting him.
Oh, wow, because you just spent the last 5 minutes being an A.J. Dillon stan. Am I crazy, Ashton? That's what he just did, right?
He has. He's spent the last few minutes trying to explain to himself why he thinks it's potentially going to happen, despite the fact he doesn't want to.
What I'm trying to do is justify why.
Josh DiMaggio, big A.J. Dillon fan. That's basically what I've gotten out of the last 5 minutes.
What I'm trying to do is justify the inevitability that he's on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to lie to me, that's fine. If you want to lie to yourself, that's your business, but don't lie to me.
Like A.J. Dillon loves Door County.
I think A.J. Dillon's going to be on the roster, and there's not a lot we can do about it. That's the way.
Yeah, and you're excited about it. You're excited about it. You love A.J. Dillon.
At Josh DiMaggio 28 is going to be his new Twitter.
With the half-hearted defenses I've given, I think what I'm doing is telling you A.J. Dillon's on the roster for a reason, and he's getting those premium touches for a reason. So if I were to believe there's no chance he made it, we would have to believe this preseason game changed the Packers' opinion to where now there's going to be a flip where Emmanuel Wilson is going to be on the field before A.J. Dillon. Because A.J. Dillon was on the field way before Emmanuel Wilson was.
Sure.
So what we'd have to say is the Packers saw what they've seen for the previous 3 years and finally decided we're making a change.
Well, they should.
But they haven't.
So that's where I have issues.
So who's on the field first next week in the preseason game? A.J. Dillon or Emmanuel Wilson?
It'll be A.J. Dillon.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to cut him. I mean, Mike Daniels started every bleeping game and played, and then all of a sudden he was a surprise cut. Like, these types of cuts happen all the time.
Right, but we're also what does Goody and Russ Ball love? A deal.
You know who's more expensive than Emmanuel Wilson? A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, but they have a guy that they trust. They think that knows the system. Emmanuel Wilson was playing into the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
playing in the fourth quarter in the first preseason game is not really a guy that's going to be an option.
Well, who else are they putting out there at running back?
They've got more. I don't know their names.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't actually have more. Like, they only want to look at these 4 guys.
Yeah, I don't know how I've been cornered into I'm the A.J. Dillon defender.
Because you've been defending A.J. Dillon.
With the things you said.
I'm just trying to explain to you that everything I've read, I've seen, and I know about the Packers tells me A.J. Dillon is going to be the third option at running back.
No,
it's clear you don't read, dummy.
Now you're just lashing out.
Of course.
Hey, because you're just in a corner. You're trying to fight your way out because you're an A.J. Dillon fan. We've said bad things about A.J. Dillon, so now you're getting defensive about it. Like, I get it. I understand what's happening here.
I have the amount of fourth running backs I've said is better than A.J. Dillon to this point. If you go through my Twitter history, there's probably names
now
I
you're
forgot.
Bringing up Twitter history. Like, again, you're just, I
think last
really
year I was talking
out.
about Emmanuel Wilson being better than A.J. Dillon.
Just really lashing out.
We have this all recorded. The people on YouTube can probably go back and watch.
That sounds like...
Seems like a lot of work for somebody to do, Josh.
This is bogus.
Or I just take you at your word for the last 10 minutes as an A.J. Dillon stan, and, when you show up, week 1 wearing an A.J. Dillon jersey.
When's your jersey coming in?
I'm just going to get the mayor of Door County shirt instead to really show my support, to show him a true A.J. Dillon head.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start playing some Farming Simulator, too. just fully get into the A.J. Dillon life.
That's a deep A.J. Dillon cut. That is a deep A.J.
Josh
Dillon
DiMaggio.
cut. And this is how I know that you're an A.J.
Dillhead.
Dillon.
I'm a picklehead and a dillhead.
Yeah. Just absolutely loves it.
You might think it's the same thing. It's not.
It's not. And here, the thing is, like, I wanted to talk a little bit about the offensive line, but we've spent so much time talking about your love of A.J. Dillon. We just don't even have time.
14 minutes talking about A.J. Dillon and Josh's love for him feels like a lot. I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but come on.
Yeah, come on, Josh. Stop hijacking shows.
You forced me into this.
I didn't. I did no such thing. I
backed
did
me
no
into-
such thing.
I've been tricked. I've been bamboozled.
You've done this to
Point
yourself.
An expo marker thing at me.
You've got only one person to blame, and that is yourself. You know what Chewy always says anytime he's here when it comes to the Jewelry Center? Happy wife, happy life. And that's why he likes to go see his guy, Dean, at the Jewelry Center. I love the Jewelry Center because they always help me out. Whether I'm talking about the wedding bands, whether I'm talking about the engagement ring, they are always going to make sure that you are taken care of at the Jewelry Center because they put together a great team of experts. Whether we're talking about their place in Brookfield, Greenfield, or in Burlington, the Jewelry Center is always going to make sure you have options, especially when it comes to those diamond engagement rings. Whether we're talking about naturally mined diamonds or lab-grown diamonds, of course, the Jewelry Center always has options. So stop in Brookfield, Greenfield, or in Burlington. Check out the full inventory online at shoptjc.com and make sure you tell the Jewelry Center that Gabe and Chew sent you.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We got a bunch of problems in the south side here. We've got an accident on northbound 4394 just north of Holt Avenue off on the left shoulder. Then we've got another one in the Plainfield curve still being worked on with the left lane blocked with this car that went perpendicular into the median wall. So it's definitely heavy coming out of the Mitchell interchange up to that accident scene. On the westbound side of 894, that's packed in from the Mitchell all the way to about 60th Street. There is a broken down vehicle stuck in the right lane there. So that's going to be adding to your headaches. Southbound 43 slow from Hampton Avenue to Keefe. Northbound slow from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe as well. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today. Partly cloudy skies, very low chance of an afternoon pop-up shower, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63 at the lake, 55 inland. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. Bone on bone, constant pain. It robs you of so much of the things that you love to do. But there are effective ways to deal with that pain. I'm not talking about drugs or surgery. Hey, this is Brad Nortman. There are new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. The place to go? QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your body's own healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know that steroids and surgeries and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. QC Kinetics is ready to help you get your life back. This is the future of medicine. Call for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
It would be the best story, not only in tennis, but maybe in sports.
We were just two young black girls playing in Compton. This is not normally how that story goes. I looked different. I played different. I was more emotional. I was better. I was stronger. I had muscles. I was something that no one had ever seen before, ever.
Stream the ESPN Plus original series, In the Arena, Serena Williams, presented by Morgan Stanley, now on ESPN Plus.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
College students, are you looking to make your campus living more comfortable, functional, and fashionable this year? Let IKEA Oak Creek help. From innovative storage solutions and furniture to maximize your space, to fashionable bedding and accessories to make it uniquely yours, IKEA is helping make college living truly inspired by you. And now, qualified college students can get 15% off their IKEA purchases. Visit IKEA Oak Creek or check out the Ready for College section on IKEA.com/US to learn more.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Look, you take Jesus and the presents out, and it's not even in the top 10.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you take sex out of the anniversary, then that's not that fun either.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Schultz texts in 800-990-3776. Joshie DiMaggio. Big A.J. Dillon guy. Quadzilla and Lumberzilla.
2 peas in a pod. Blue-collar guys working hard.
I know how you think that leaning into this is going to make it go away. It's not.
It's going to make it worse. I'm just going to make imaging around this now.
What a good use of your time, executive producer.
That's a Monday. Now he's lashing out again.
Now, yeah, he's just lashing out. He's realizing his tactics aren't working on us, and now he's lashing out. Much like maybe somebody like Ray Gunn could lash out. If you are unfamiliar, this is probably the biggest thing that happened all weekend,
yes.
right?
There was 2 gold medals in women's and men's basketball for the U.S.
Yep.
And Ray Gunn trounced him.
Well, you shouldn't say that because apparently the number of people who tuned into the USA men's gold medal game was over 20 million. So,
yeah, people watched it, but in terms of what are you going to remember more? Ray Gunn's wiggling?
I mean, Steph Curry's through is pretty sick.
That shot is good.
If that shot doesn't happen, you might have an argument, Josh. But so if you are unfamiliar with Ray Gunn is a breakdancer from Australia who apparently has a PhD. Yes. And teaches a course known as the Cultural Politics of Breakdancing at a university in Australia. You can find it. Just go online. Just type in Ray Gunn, and you can find her performance, if that's what we're going to call it. It's mesmerizing. I believe she received 0 points in the breakdancing competition for what she put together. It's astounding that this happened at such a high level.
The memes that grew from this, when I first saw this, I thought it was like some sort of a prank.
Sure.
I couldn't quite figure out what was going on because there's literally a lot of like laying on the ground and wiggling around. At one point, she does like a kangaroo stance.
Yeah. And just like jumps back and forth.
Yes. And then like does a pose with her hands up. It was one of those things where the level of secondhand embarrassment I felt made it hard to watch. Where I don't know how Ray Gunn's feeling now. I saw her return to Australia which I think were a bunch of people making fun of her and her not knowing she was being made fun of. But the more I kept digging into it, it seemed like she unironically thinks she's a good breakdancer and is like enjoys breakdancing, which I guess is how you end up on an Olympic stage scoring 0 points and the whole internet laughing at you.
How did she get to this point, though?
I mean, you see this happen.
It's a scam.
Yeah, you see this happen on occasion. Like, they do like regional to make the Olympics. Australia.
Is she the only one who showed up?
Do you think Australia has a deep and rich history of breaking?
No, but however, continent itself is rather large.
It is.
And I would think that somebody, like, if that was what they sent, maybe you just don't send someone. Like, not every country has to participate in every sport.
No, they often don't. Sometimes
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if this is the best you have to offer, maybe you don't. But she obviously has confidence to do this. So the question becomes, is there something that you're over? Like, I wish I had just an ounce of her confidence. Like if that's my biggest takeaway. Like the irrational confidence she has as a breakdancer, because she's not very good. She's just not. She's not very good.
She's not. That's how you score 0 points in
the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I could go score 0 points in the Olympics.
Uh-huh.
I could do that. But I couldn't do that because I wouldn't have the confidence to look that ridiculous while doing that on the Olympic stage.
Yeah. The question is are you what's worse? The person who thinks they're a good dancer and is a bad dancer, or the person who thinks they're a good singer and is a bad singer? Because I've been to countless weddings.
Yeah.
And it's typically a man, because the overconfidence seems to be a male trait more than a female trait.
Fair.
If we're being honest, Ray Gun did upset the system here. False confidence generally comes from the male sex. But he's in the middle of the dance floor, and he's acting like he's owning it. Like people are there to see him. It might be someone's wedding, but people are there to watch him on the dance floor. But then you got the odd bar you wander into, and there's someone at the karaoke who's belting in a way that is making people leave. Or just, your friend who a song comes on and decides to sing it louder than the music's playing. Both of them horrendous situations to be in.
Oh, no. I mean,
there's one answer.
Yeah. In terms of what is worse, the overconfident bad dancer or the overconfident bad singer?
It's so easy.
Yeah, the bad singer.
It's not even close. It's the bad singer.
It is
because if
that'll ruin an entire time.
Because if you you haven't left a wedding because somebody ended up in the middle of the circle and they were just horrifically bad, even though they thought they were good. And the other thing is, I can ignore that. I can turn around. I can go to the bar. I can get myself a drink. I can go to the bathroom. I can take the moment because that person's going to tire themselves out. They're not a good dancer. They don't have the stamina that you need, to continue to dance like that. So I can just ignore it. The bad singer, I go to the bar. Guess what? I hear it. Go to the bathroom, I hear it. I can't escape it. It cannot be escaped. And yes, maybe their song eventually comes to an end, but my goodness, I'm not putting in earplugs. I can't do that. I'm going to a karaoke bar. The irrational, confident singer who thinks they're good when they're actually bad.
And you can't say anything because then you're just a huge knob. If you say something to them, they're like, they're not ruining your time. You can't say anything. You just have to let it happen.
I mean, I feel like you could. I never would because I'm anti-confrontational.
No, I'm with that.
I would be more hesitant to the dancer, just because that person is out there, they're having fun, they're jiggling.
Yeah, because it's harmless.
A bad dancer has discouraged me from the dance floor at a wedding, and I love boogieing at a wedding.
Yeah.
They have been like, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be close to that person. I don't want that person trying to involve me in what they got going on there. At State Fair yesterday, there was a band playing Stacy's Mom, and there was a guy roboting to it in the middle of the dance floor.
Wait, how was his robot?
It was awful.
Can you show us?
Horrendous. He was also wearing headphones, like over-the-ear headphones, much like the ones we have on
Steve
now,
Bartman?
while roboting to Stacy's Mom, which was about the last song I would figure you would ever be roboting to.
It's tough. There's not a real.
The roboting affected the musicians. Like the singer could not stop roboting himself in response and talking about it, which was affecting the music. He was like missing his cues for the lyrics. It was, I suffer from secondhand embarrassment in the worst way. Where if someone embarrasses themselves, like this weekend I was at a party. Someone had a bit too much to drink, came up to a group of us, was totally embarrassing. I just got up and walked away. Said, I can't be here.
How is this person embarrassing?
They were just being awkward, saying awkward things.
Okay.
Being generally sloppy, like kind of bumping into everyone. And I just said, you know what? I'm not even going to announce my exit. I'm not even going to give an excuse of where I got to go. I'm just going to stand up, 180, and walk away.
You really are out of this situation. I'm getting out of this situation. Because everybody likes, I think, to a certain extent, especially after you've had a little liquid courage at a wedding, to boogie in a wedding. Yeah. I have no desire to ever be in the middle of the circle. I don't want to do that. No. Just let me be in the corner, do my own thing with,
I'll root you on from the outside of the circle.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to be on the inside of the circle. But again, even if I somehow get forced in the middle of the circle, whatever I'm going to do is not going to be offensive to the point where somebody's ears hurt or eyes are hurting them. Whereas, again, the overconfident singer, just stepping up there, thinking they can, again, and the most overconfident singer of all time is Carl Lewis.
Yes.
When he steps up singing the national anthem. And,
I'm going to save it here.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to make up for it. No, Carl, you're not, because you're not an actual singer. Like that's just bad.
I feel like I run into the overconfident dancer more than the singer, though. And that's probably what's coloring my opinion of it, because, I mean, you can go anywhere and see a bad dancer. You could just go to the local watering hole.
I don't know if I have anyone in my phone who actually thinks they're a good dancer, though.
Oh,
I think there's people who think they're a passable. But I don't know if I have anyone that I am close with that if I went up to them and asked, hey, are you a good dancer? You know what? Nope, that's wrong. I guarantee if I went up to Ben Brust and asked if he was a good dancer, he would say yes. I've never seen Ben dance. I have no idea, but I guarantee he thinks he's a good dancer.
I was going to say, I feel like I've heard Ben Brust say he is a good dancer.
Okay, I haven't. Yeah, I mean, you produced their show for years, so it wouldn't be shocking if that's something he said.
I feel like the problem is most often all of these things are alcohol induced.
Correct.
Because these people like to hide in the shadows as the good dancer, the self-proclaimed good dancer, good singer. And then when you get a little liquid courage is when they typically emerge. I just feel like I've run into the bad dancer so much. Like, the bad dancer also will do it in like the wrong setting. Like they'll be like music just playing in a bar, and then they're like dancing in front of everyone and making, and you're like, what's going on here? At least the singer is typically karaoke. Karaoke, you know there's going to be good singers, there's going to be okay singers and bad singers. It's very rare you run into the good singer.
Every once in a while you hit the good singer, and that's just like
it's electric. Yes,
because you don't see it coming.
Right. That's the best experience, and I also feel like I get more excited for a good singer than I would even a good dancer. Like a good dancer, you're kind of like, all right, now you're just being a show off over there. A good singer, it's like, wow, I'm having a good time. My time's better because I got to see this person sing.
Yeah, the dancing doesn't affect you, right? Like good, bad, indifferent.
It's
like
a car crash, so I can't look away.
Yeah, that's.
I was locked into the guy roboting to Stacy's mom yesterday.
So that's just weird, man. Like I don't know as an adult. Like where I'm dancing, like if you are somebody in your, you're just out of college in your 20s and you're going to different bars that have dance floors.
Yes.
I get it, right?
Yes.
But like as an adult, like once I get past 30, I'm not going to a lot of those places.
Nope.
I'm not dancing a lot.
Nope.
Like outside of a wedding, I don't know of a venue where I am ever going to be dancing ever again in my life. That is the only place when I go to a wedding that I even have the opportunity to dance.
I would say concerts, but I'm not really dancing. I'm kind of just bopping.
You're just kind of bopping.
Yeah,
you're you're not moving around.
There's no like moves going on. It's just kind of having a good time with the setting you're in.
Yeah, the overconfident singer definitely worse than the overconfident dancer. And again, all in honor of Raygun, the breakdancer, 36-year-old from Australia who scored a 0 in the first ever Olympics featuring breakdancing.
The part where she's laying on the floor and just kind of wiggling her body and like moving, it is, and the meme happened 1,000 times. It is like your nephew or niece or child who goes, "Hey, watch this," and then they like do something and you're like, "Yeah, that's great."
Oh, that's great.
It felt like everyone cheering along was like it was patronizing. Like, oh, you're trying hard. Yeah. You're doing your best out there.
That's all.
You're having fun.
Just rooting for everyone to have a good time.
It's not what the Olympics feels like. It feels like the best of the best should be out there. And we kind of just, like, obviously a lot of people decided to defend Ray Gunn, who's made her life breaking as they call it. And the amount of hate she was getting, people were like, well, she was having a good time. She was doing her best. She has a PhD in this. And it's like, yeah, but it's still not good enough.
How does that work, by the way? The PhD part.
I don't know. I mean, there's a university that...
It's Australia.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They're on an island there. They got to have somebody doing something. She found a market. Her niche.
I mean, we've got classes here that you can take and learn, J.R.R. Tolkien's Elvish, right?
Yes.
Like that's a college class that you can take. I know for a fact that Tony Cartagena, TC, executive producer over Fifth Analysis, I'm pretty sure he took a class while at UW on the show The Wire. Like these are classes that you can take. There are weird things out there that you can major in. There are weird classes you can take. Apparently, this is taking it to the extreme. We'll see what we put on the poll. Plus, I don't know if I've ever seen a thing as selfish as this in professional sports. We'll dive into that coming up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. It's racing season at the legendary Great Lakes Dragaway, and our schedule of events is ready. We've still got our yearly holiday weekend races like Labor Day weekend, plus Nitrous Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, and Night of Fire. You can also book corporate and private events. Take advantage of our season-long passes and even schedule a time to take your car down the legendary quarter mile. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for pricing and info. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
An epic Brewers homestand kicks off August 9th, featuring a division duel against the Reds. First place battles with the Dodgers and Guardians, plus 3 giveaway games. Find the game for you at brewers.com/tickets.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you have a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle taking up space in storage or your garage? Homer here, asking you to consider donating it to Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, Rawhide is a local faith-based nonprofit organization dedicated to inspiring and equipping at-risk youth and their families. They need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping troubled youths transform their lives. Visit rawhide.org/donate and learn how you can help today.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Excuse me. Hold on. Getting choked up over it. So, hold on. Give me a moment.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
I'm being told we don't have enough time for me to dive into the insanity of Matt Kuchar and doing what he did this morning.
That's my bad.
So if you want to hear the Matt Kuchar takes, just listen to On the Tee tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Me and Steven Watson. Wildy and Tausch, they're coming up next.
Sorry.
Earlier accident on northbound 43 at Atkinson has been cleared out of the way. Delays are still solid.